Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's session with financial literacy. I'm here with a lovable, lovely, amazing brother in Islam who has learned about Islamic finance, and I'm here with him to have a very beautiful and insightful discussion on financial literacy. So welcome, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Amma ba'd. Thank you very much, Sister Munira, for having me here today. It's my pleasure.
Here. I wanted to start by asking, what is financial literacy?
It's a very good question. Now, simply put, how do you manage your money? How do you plan for your money in a proper way? So, not from just earning, but then also utilizing your money. That's just the simplest explanation I can give. Financial planning, financial literacy. How do you get your money? How do you plan your money? And how do you utilize your money efficiently? Yes.
So financial literacy means being able to know your money, work with your money, and also plan with your money and live with your money. So now I want to ask our beloved guests, when you say have knowledge of your money, what do you normally mean with having knowledge of your money?
Thank you very much. So actually what this means, having knowledge of your money, how to use it, meaning we can start from actually how do you earn money? And of course, given that we are Muslims, obviously, how do you earn your money as a Muslim? How do you plan or use your money as a Muslim? And then also utilizing it, obviously, planning for your money and utilizing it, investing it, using it, all those. So we need to understand, or we need to have that proper knowledge that will help us as Muslims, obviously. First of all, how we make our money, how we plan our money, and how we use our money. So that's the most important thing, and that's the most important knowledge one should have in terms of financial literacy.
How you plan your money and how you know your money. So if I may ask, do you normally find, or how would you normally address a youth coming to you and earning, let's say 10,000, 20,000 in a month? How would they work with that money?
This is a very good question, and of course a very difficult question. How do you advise someone on their money? It's their money. How do you advise them? And especially given that most of us rarely take, especially as you rarely take any advice, so asking advice for money is hard. But let's try, inshallah. All right. If you earn 10,000, how do you? We say survive, not live. So how do you survive with 10,000? Obviously, I would say probably you live at home, right? So if you live at home, there are many expenses that are being cut for example, rent, for example, food, and other expenses at home. So for your own 10,000 shillings, you can decide, I need to invest in myself. For example, you have other siblings that your parents are taking care of. So it's hard for them to say, you've done your degree, now we need to pay for you another course, other things. And we know knowledge or education is another form of investment. So with the 10,000, we nowadays have accredited papers online. We know online courses that can help you. We have like boot camps, maybe for IT people, maybe who are joining IT or tech field. We have for finance, we have Udemy, we have Coursera, etc., which range between $2, $3 to $15 that I guess you can always invest in to grow as a person. That's one. Two, you can always invest or save, just saving. We have circles. And the earlier you start, you inculcate the knowledge of saving or the art of saving in your life, the better and easier for you. But if you wait until you're old, then the joke that we usually have around is our savings are our kids. We'll give birth to many kids, and then 2 or 3 will earn money, and these are the ones who will be taking care of me when I'm old. That's not a skill that we can use as a saving strategy. So use whatever you have. It's 10,000, use it. Ensure that you save much of it. Anything that is not a priority in your life, example, and I quote, "Patia mwili pole," that's not a priority in your life. Just once, sawa, that's okay. But if you keep on doing it every single day, there are certain things that are not a priority in your life. There's no point of investing your money in that. Thank you.
Wow, that is so much. I am a victim. How do I say? I abuse money differently with the patia mwili pole, and then I'll buy, let's say, shawarma, and then it goes on. The next thing is pizza, and then it goes on burger, and then we go out. Tunapatia mwili pole the whole month. So it's kind of like, that's something we do. Our generation is very, not just our generation, every one of us is a person who's affected by this. So if I say victim, I mean a person who's affected by that. So coming back to the questions, normally we have a lot of, when we talk about financial literacy, there's a lot of strategies online that we find. There's a lot of programs that we find. You'll find, if you scroll into Instagram, for example, you'll find one person saying, everyone's scrolling by and not taking in my marketing skills or me teaching these programs. Do you find those effective, or do you find those things, those kind of posts, something that a youth can engage with and become more financially literate?
Personally, I have a very different perspective, and that is, personal finance is personal. So not all the advices that we get online will help us in achieving our goals. We need to understand, first of all, what is your objective? You want to start saving. What is your objective? Are you just saving because others are saving? Do you want to invest in, let's say, stocks because others are investing? Do you want to buy a house because others are doing it? So all these tools, all these materials, all these groups, all these people sharing or selling their personal finance courses, they are also in business. All right. So the most important thing is for you as a person to understand what is your goal first, so that you align your goal with whatever it is that you're teaching. Yes, there are those who train you on understanding savings, budgeting, planning, and savings. These are good things that we can understand. And of course, something else is understanding where to invest. How do you earn your money, especially us as Muslims? How do you understand whatever I'm getting myself into is halal or haram? Most of them will be selling, for example, yes, you need to buy stocks, but then how do you understand the kind of stock you are investing in or buying shares for? From the company you're buying shares from is halal. So let's align ourselves with our goals, with our objectives. All these, yes, or alternatively, what we can do is nitpick what benefits you and throw the rest. That's the advice I can give.
Wow. So nitpick what works for you. This comes to utilizing your priorities. Something that we all are told whenever we are talking about financial literacy. Like, what is your priority? Learn what your priority is. But how do I know what my priority is? Can I be able to have the same priority as someone else?
That's a very good question. Can we have same priorities? Obviously no. My priority might be to buy a house. Someone else's priority might be to buy a car. Someone else's priority will be, I want to go for Umrah or Hajj. You see, I'll take my family. So how do we understand? We all know when we dig deep in our hearts, we understand what is a priority to us. Of course, sometimes whatever is a priority to you might not be financially viable, or might not be something within your means. So it's usually to start with something that is, let's say, an immediate cause, an immediate thing. For example, I want to do my master's, so I've done my degree, I'm not working, I just started working. Let me plan to save. Let me start saving now to pay for my degree, for my master's. That's a good goal, because investing in your education also is a form of investment. Most probably, I know the reality is usually different for many of us. the economy is really difficult. I know some say, I have a master's, I have a PhD, I have a job. We need to understand as Muslims. Number one, risk is from Allah. But then for us, we need to put in the effort. And one of the efforts is being ready. So imagine you're not ready, you don't have a paper, you've not invested in yourself, in your education. How do you then tomorrow say that I don't have a job, I don't do this? You need to be ready for opportunities when they come. So of course, dig deep down in your heart and ask yourself, take time, take a notebook, take a pen, write down what is your priority one. I need to, the immediate goals and, long-term goals. So the first one, let's say, you might say, do my master's. Someone else might say, I need to take my mom for Umrah. Of course, all these. So you decide yourself. Maybe, of course, what you can always do too is ask for advice, from your peers. Someone senior can advise you, can guide you on how you can go about write down your plans. So it's a good thing, because as Muslims, something else that we need to do is asking for nasiha, which is a good thing. We cannot always be right with our own decisions and everything we say. So that's another thing that you need to take home today. Dig deep down, understand what your real priority is, and two, of course, always ask for advice from people.
Beautiful. So talking about nasiha, I find it quite sometimes hard that whenever we're talking about mainly youth or even females to go and get financially literate, you'll find that sometimes they don't have people who are at par with financial literacy. So how will they be able to get this financial literate materials and all when they don't have the surrounding that can be able to give them this information?
Obviously, what should happen is we should start learning about financial literacy from home. So basically, we know what they usually say, monkey see, monkey do. So the way we see our parents utilizing money, planning for money, savings, using it, if they are wasteful, obviously, monkey do. That's how we follow. That's how we copy them. And there is where we sometimes fail. We start from home. Secondly, obviously, it's an important thing for us to engage in a lot of awareness campaigns for many people to understand, especially the aspect of Islamic financial literacy. Not just planning and utilizing your money. I mean, there are people who have a share in your wealth. You need to pay zakah, you need to pay sadaqah. So how do you plan for all these things? You also need to write down all the contracts that you have. If you have debts outside, you need to write down. If someone has your debt, you need to write down. So engaging in financial campaign awareness is an important thing. Thirdly, we have numerous resources online, ranging from Islamic financial literacy programs to just conventional financial literacy programs. Of course, still going back to nitpicking what is, I can say now, what is Sharia compliant, and obviously what works for you, and leaving out the rest. And hopefully we can share these materials. We can continue having more sessions as the one that we're having today, in order to increase the level of awareness that we need for many of our youths to have in financial literacy programs or financial literacy, inshallah. Yes, thank you.
As Omar has mentioned, inshallah we will have more sessions like this, even webinars talking about financial literacy, even learning how you can manage your money, manage your time and all that within the frame of financial literacy. So going to my second question, I would like to ask, normally as Muslims, there's this humbleness we have. There's the fact that we're supposed to be more humble, we're supposed to be giving out more than we can, like the story of one of the Prophet ﷺ's wives who used to go into debt and then make sure that she's giving out and doing sadaqah. How do you think that we can cope or manage with these societal norms and religious ideologies in terms of money management?
Still a very important question. Now, from the history of Islam, as Muslims, we need to understand that we have Quran and Sunnah as our guidance. Of course, Salafun Salih, what they used to do, was what they used to say about finances. A very famous story that I love talking about usually is one of the famous billionaire Sahaba. Do you know who it is? I can give you 2 seconds to think, you as our listener. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, radiyallahu anhu. When they migrated from Makkah to Medina, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was pairing Sahabas, Muhajirun with the Ansar, and most of them had left their wealth because of Islam. So starting from scratch usually is not an easy thing, especially in a new country or in a new environment. You're not used to it, you've left your wealth, but then they did all this lillahi. And because of that, of course, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, the person he was paired with, asked him to take half of his wealth and choose from his wives the one that he wants. He refused. He only asked for one thing. Do you know what it is? You listen, our listener. 1, 2, 3. Yes, he asked for the market to go and start working in the market, selling, buying, selling. And one of the strategies that he used to do was, as much as he's selling, buying and selling, if he could not get a lot of profit on his products, he would sell at cost. So it was about volumes. And with the time, his wealth grew because it had barakah. And of course, we know in Islam, Allah, through the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we are encouraged as Muslims to work for money, to work for wealth. And Allah loves a hand that is up, meaning a hand that gives, not the one that is down, meaning the one that is begs. So, understanding what Islam says about money, avoiding what is haram when we are earning our money, avoiding lying, avoiding riba, avoiding betting, gambling, all these, avoiding interest, and also how we utilize our money. Do we utilize our money the way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Islam encourages us or pushes us to do? So these are ways of how you can earn barakah in your money. And of course, the most important thing that most of us usually forget, me included, is contentment, qana'a. How do you get contented with what you have? Do you get contented with what you have? If you don't, obviously, you will always be involved in a rat race of wanting more wealth, wanting more money, more cars, more this, more that, but then you'll never be satisfied. And the famous hadith of Rasulullah, Ibn Adam will never be satisfied with one mountain of gold. You'll always want a second and third. The only thing that you can get contented with is sun, especially when we die or when we are buried. So for us, it's always to go back to the basics, and that is, what does Islam say? How does Islam guide us as youths, as Muslims, on how we utilize our finances, how we earn, and how we use it?
You've reminded me of something that I've been taught when I was young. My father used to tell us that your hand not to be like this, because nothing will come in. That your hand be like this, so that whenever something comes in, there's something that comes in and something that goes. So it gives you that opportunity whereby when your hand is just like this, nothing comes in. You're just holding on to the small thing that you have. But when your hand is like this, you're giving yourself an opportunity to feel and get more money, at the same time give out. That's the same logic that I normally use when I learn about Islam. When I learned about Islam, giving zakah and sadaqah, like giving out does not decrease. It actually enables you to receive more. So at the same time, as much as you're receiving more, you also have to also look after yourself and your family and the people behind you. At the same time, you also have to acknowledge that this money is not the ultimate goal. It's risk. Risk meaning it's sustenance, something that needs to sustain you in life. You mentioned earlier that we need to survive, but initially I think most of the people have this notion of money is supposed to be a way of thriving. but money is supposed to be a way to sustain you, to sustain the kind of life that you have. So how are you sustaining the kind of life that you want to have if you're not also able to open up your arm? So another question I would like to ask you is, and I love that you had brought it up before, how does mental health have an impact in terms of financial literacy?
We know financial health, mental health, what usually happens is most of us fall into debt. Is it really necessary to get into debt? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But then what usually happens is whenever we have challenges in our financial lives, we tend to look for debt. We tend to look for solutions outside our financial means. That way, we get again back into the rat race of trying to look for money to pay debt. It comes, let's say, the end of this month, whatever you had as salary or business, you get profit, you have to pay all your bills, you have nothing that remains to pay that debt. So it's a continuous circle that you find yourself in. Now, what happens? You start having stress. Stress meaning you don't know how you're going to pay all these debts. They start sending you notices, they send you auctioneers, so you end up having financial trauma, financial stress. So now, the most important thing, of course, obviously, we know, is usually one living within our means. And living within our means answers barakah, meaning you don't waste money. So that means you're frugal with your money. You plan well, you use well, especially how Islam dictates to us. Secondly, you give sadaqah, and by giving sadaqah, you earn barakah in your money and in your wealth. Thirdly, you avoid all haram financial activities, for example, interest, gambling, and such. So, importantly, usually is to go back to the basics and understanding what are ways that I, as an individual, can utilize to earn more barakah. And we know, is there anything better than earning barakah in your wealth? So whenever you earn more barakah, whenever you earn barakah in your wealth, meaning Allah blesses your wealth, we obviously have contentment. And all the worries that we have in our wealth, all the worries that we have about our immediate future, how we are going to utilize money, will flow out of our lives. I understand it's not just an easy thing to just solve whenever we have issues relating to mental health, especially with debt. We have hospital bills, we have school fees, we have other responsibilities that we have in our lives. But then the basics that we can always go back to, or we can, personally, I can advise is one, contentment, ensuring we earn barakah by giving more. And of course, by giving sadaqah, Allah opens more doors for you. And we know, when we talk about the hospital bills specifically, if you have, let's say, a sick person, you know what Rasulullah advises us, and he says, Da'u marudwakum bis sadaqah. Treat your sick people by giving them sadaqah. So by giving them sadaqah, Allah automatically blesses you, gives shifa to your sick people. And these are some of the ways that we reduce stress in our financial, like I say, stress in our financial stress, right? And inshallah, may Allah make it easy for all of us. I know it's not an easy journey, but mostly we ask Allah, inshallah, to make it easy for all of us. Thank you.
I love the fact that you had mentioned about the financial literacy or a financial journey being started with the family first. Things that I do realize when we talk about mental health as a therapist is not many people actually should be diagnosed with the things that they are diagnosed with because of money. Reasons why I'm saying that, when we have someone coming to the sessions or when we talk about therapy to people, the first thing we're told is, "Utapata pesa, will I get some money from this?" Because I know money is my biggest problem. But the thing is, most of the ways that you deal with money, or you idealize money, or the position money is in your life, determines even your mental state. it determines each part of your mental state. If you put it as the priority, as nothing else will work except money, then you're setting yourself to anxiety, you're setting yourself to depression, you're setting yourself to many mental illnesses if they're left uncured. Another thing is, money is an agent, meaning money enhances the things that you need to do to make you be happy, to make you sustain the kind of life that you want. But the moment you keep money being an enabler or something that needs to happen because you can't do the things that you need to do, then you are also setting yourself to that part of mental illnesses. So learn that money is just an agent, money is a sustainer. When you're able to do that, it enables you to enhance your mental health. Like how our brother mentioned, if you have a small amount of money, it doesn't mean that you can't help other people. Helping others actually makes you. That's one of the main reasons why we will have a closure or a connection with our soul. So the moment you start helping other people, not to a big extent whereby you're also going into depths to, you're also going to having problems within your own family, but to an extent whereby you're able to sleep knowing that you've made someone else's life a bit much more easier, is actually a very good or a strong point for you. So coming to the conclusion or concluding with on our program today, I'd like to ask our brother if there's any other thing that you'd like to add to this, any advice that you have, or any upcoming thing that you'd like to say.
Importantly, I know most of us, personally included, we hate writing. We say we have notes in our phones, we want to write, we'll do everything there, but please take time. You can decide, it's almost end of month here and you're earning your salary, please take a pen, take a paper. Alternatively, you can use Excel in your laptop. Write down all your, of course you can start by writing your salary and then you list down all your priorities, expense that are priority to you. This way, you will see well that you have rent, you have food, all the necessary expenses that you have, let's say for May, right? And then that way you will decide which ones are not a priority in your life at that particular point. You start removing them from your budget. By writing down and listing what is a priority, what is not, writing down, calculating. This way, you will have financial confidence. And when you have confidence in planning for your money and utilizing your money, there's something else that comes with it, a benefit. And that is you'll have less stress, knowing that you've planned well for your money and there are no eventualities that will come and find you unawares. Where we fail usually is we get our salary, send everything to our M-Pesa, and that's exactly how we start now. We pay rent, we pay your bills. That's how we go. We live day by day instead of planning. And we know a culture of Islam, we are a culture of planning. We are a culture of, yes, tying your camel and then you leave everything else to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What I would advise to you today would be, we have numerous resources online that you can use for your budgeting. Inshallah ta'ala we'll share more, maybe more that are refined to our local settings that we can use ourselves, inshallah. And that is, promise me that from today, you start budgeting your money well. You start writing down all your expenses and taking account of your money. If you don't take account of your money today, who will? And we know Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says two things that will be asked. I'm just giving two, meaning how did you earn your money? Was it halal? And we know earning halal earns mubarakah, etc. You get yourself involved in riba, you're fighting Allah, you're fighting Rasul. Secondly, of course, you'll be questioned how did you earn your money, etc. etc. Secondly, you will also be questioned how did you utilize your money? Did you utilize your money towards things that are sanctioned by Islam, or did you waste your money in things that are not a priority and things that are not sanctioned by Islam? That's a question to you. and hopefully from today we will change and become better personal finance planners or managers of our own money. Inshallah. I wish you all the best.
Thank you for being with us in this fruitful journey and fruitful discussion that we just had. Inshallah, I would like us to share our views, share our thoughts and all that. Remember that our channel, as much as we've talked about it being public, it's also kind of private. Why? Because we ensure confidentiality. If you ask us any question in private, we will be honored to answer them, and at the same time ensure that it's confidential for you. Something else is that we will inshallah be doing more webinars, more discussions like this. We will be touching on different categories, for example our mothers, sisters, married people, unmarried. We also have the university students. Inshallah, anything that you have or any questions that you have, feel free to ask us. Jazakumullah khairan.